lot of great things, meet a lot of amazing people, and travel all parts of the country. Here in Iowa, I don't know if you guys know what you have going on here in Iowa, but you have the world's largest truck stop, the world's largest bowl, the world's largest casket.
Definitely.
Today I'm actually going to use one of my other brothers to speak. I'm going to introduce each of us. Tag right here, the oldest brothers, 4 children. Greg right here.
There's dad.
Matt,
The baby. He's
got 4 kids.
Look at him. Working.
One last thing.
Can't hear you saying because you're being loud.
Hey guys,
Hey!
how many of you are planning to vote in the Caucus tonight? Raise your hand. Awesome. How many of you are voting in the Republican Caucus tonight?
Yeah!
All right, well, listen, I'm here to brag about my dad for a few minutes, so this is a lot of fun for us. There are 2 issues that should really concern you guys, given the age and the station you're at in your life. The first is, what kind of jobs are going to be available for you when you graduate from high school or college?
Miranda Romney, tell us.
What type of employment is going to be
Stop
out there?
talking.
Second is, how much debt are we going to leave our generation going to leave your generation? How much interest and investment do you guys are paying on in order to afford the borrowings of the generations ahead of you? And I'm here to tell you, listen, I think Barack Obama is actually a pretty good person. I think he's a good father. I think he has good intentions. But I think he's in way over his head. He's never had jobs before. He's never really had to lead. And I think he wanted to make America a better place. But unfortunately, what he's done, he's
Obama. I know it's really hard to hear what people talk about.
but he's made it worse. And we need somebody in the White House who knows how to fix things, turn things around, and make it better. I know I'm a little bit biased. I think that person's my dad. You may not know, I don't know how much you know about my dad. Let me just tell you a little bit about what his experience has been and with a quick story about him. Everywhere my dad has gone, he's fixed things. He had a very long career in business. His career in business, he was an investor, and he bought lots of businesses. And what his job was to go in there and fix those businesses that were troubled and turn them around, make them successful. Some of those businesses you probably shop at, places like Staples, Domino's Pizza, Brookstone. And he's done a phenomenal job of starting businesses or buying small businesses and fixing them. He went to the Olympics. I don't know if you guys know if you remember the Olympics in 2002, but they were in bad shape. They were losing a lot of money. They had a scandal. They asked my dad to come in. At the end, my dad was there for 3 years. We took it over and they had a $400 million budget deficit. And when he left, they put on a great Olympic Games, and he left the city of Salt Lake with a $100 million surplus. Now, when you run Olympics, you don't usually end up with a surplus, but he left the Olympics with a $100 million surplus. From there, he became governor of Massachusetts.
Good job, Romney.
It's tough to be a Republican in Massachusetts. There's not many of us. Only 13% of the population of Massachusetts is registered Republican. The legislature, 85% Democrat. So he went into Massachusetts. He had the deck stacked against him a little bit. But while he was there, when he took over, he had a $3 billion budget. That's a lot of money.
Great t-shirt.
When he left,
It's like
4 years
videotaping
later,
all the different
he left the state with $1 billion rainy day. And so that's the type of discipline and fiscal responsibility that we need in Washington. I know that when he gets to Washington, he's going to fix things. So we have a lot of problems there right now. But I know that he'll do what he did in Massachusetts and the Olympics and then his 25 years career to turn things around and make things better. I want to tell you just a quick story about him to kind of illustrate the type of person he is. It's the type of thing we can brag about. I remember I was about your age, a little bit lived on a busy street. And my dad didn't like all the cars driving by and making noise, so he decided to put up a tall fence to kind of help keep the noise down. And so he was a busy guy, and he wanted to try to, you asked a bunch of people if they would build a fence, and he got prices for that from contractors. And he was shocked by how much the fence was going to cost. And so rather than paying someone to build a fence, he decided he was going to work with his 5 sons and his wife, and he was going to build this fence on his own. And so I think he probably thought it was going to take a Saturday or 2 to get that done. It ended up taking 6 Saturdays. And I'll never forget, I was out there cutting the wood together. And my mom, he actually had my mom mixing the cement in the wheelbarrow. He was digging I was digging the holes for the posts, and he was sticking them in. And I learned a lot about my dad during those 6 weekends. The first was my dad is extraordinarily cheap. He is as cheap a human being as you've ever met. He could have afforded to have someone else come in and build that fence, but he wanted to do it himself. The second thing I learned, he really believes that there's no challenge that you can't overcome with hard work and ingenuity. He loves hard work. He loves to get out there and get his hands dirty and work hard. He thinks the same thing is true in Washington. You roll up your sleeves and get to work and fix the problems that we face. The third lesson that I learned, and I think is the most important lesson for me that day, was that my dad, I realized now that my dad wanted us to build that fence, not because he was so concerned about just saving a couple extra dollars, but because he wanted to teach his 5 sons the importance and value of hard work. And I can tell you that my dad loves his family, he loves his wife, he's been married to my mom for 42 years. He raised the 5 of us. The most important thing to him has always been his faith and his family and his country. I think he'll make a fantastic president. I would love to have, all of us would love to have as many of you caucus for him tonight. I can tell you that if he becomes president, he'll never do anything to embarrass you. You'll be able to be proud of him. I also think he's the best candidate to go take on Barack Obama in the fall. If we're going to win this thing, by the way, everyone thinks, Barack has done such a good job with the economy, he's going to be easy to beat. He's not going to be easy to beat. He's going to have $1 billion to run attack ads against whoever the nominee is. We need to nominate a person who's best able to take on Barack in the fall. And I think that person's Mitt Romney. So please get out and vote, and look forward to getting to see you on the trail. Thank you.
You're not talking.
You're just there to look pretty, baby John.